Hi guys, welcome to Investing with JYK, and I'm in Japan, so today we'll talk about some Japanese ideas. So I've met friends in Japan. I'm going to meet more friends in Japan. I've had different food and saw different things, and yeah. So this is gonna be just some random thoughts that I have. Uh, so I looked at I was walking the street, so I was looking at different companies. Yoshinoya is some kind of fast food, expanding in China and US as well. It's like cheap Japanese food, $5 ish, but 90 plus P, not a good idea. Matsuya is similar to Yoshinoya, also Japanese fast food, 30p, still very expensive. I mean, if you think about it, Japan isn't really a growth country. Oryx is a conglomerate, has insurance, has a bunch of stuff you can buy. Has like car share, has hotels and all kinds of stuff. You can buy it in US with the ticker IX, and PE is fairly low, something like 8 or something, and then PB is like 1.3 ish, I think. Some things I noticed this time that was different from last time, which was 2013-ish, I think. That when I last came to Japan, 13 or 14, I don't remember exactly. But the hourly pay in Tokyo is definitely higher than I think was the case last time. What's that? 1,000 yen, um, instead of what used to be like 860 or 900 yen per hour. So there's a bit of inflation. You can see that, and the vending machines that I see are 130 yen per can, and previously they were more like 110 or 120. So there's definitely some inflation going on, at least for the past half decade. Rental housing is actually very reasonably priced. What I have seen was prices in the order of $1,500 or even less, um, for a apartment of this like 30, 40 square meters. So like 300 to 400 square foot. I mean, it's slightly more expensive than some places, most places in the U.S., but Tokyo is a very compact city, and you know, it seems somewhat reasonable to me. And transport, like transportation, is very convenient around Tokyo. So yeah, so it seems there might be some opportunity, but I have to check in terms of how much money are the people spending in rentals or housing. Uh, Matsumoto Kiyoshi is, um, I think in Japan it's more like cosmetics and drugstore. So that stuff is very popular among the Chinese tourists. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not one of them because I don't really buy any of that stuff. But people love weird Japanese made things that, and especially Chinese tourists. It has about 25 PE, and very strangely, Sugi Holdings, which is another one that has, I think this one is Don Quixote or something, right? As another cosmetics and medicine like drugstore. The stuff is also 25 PE, so man, I mean, it could still be, you know, a growth in quotations industry, but maybe the Chinese tourist tidal wave would be passing Japan at some point. We don't know. In terms of drinks, there's Suntory and Asahi and Itoen and a bunch of these. I haven't checked any of their data, but that's what I see. In terms of convenience store, in here is mostly Family Mart, which is, at least in Tokyo, that's what I see the most. And there's also Lawson. There's a thing called, they call it gourmet, which is just gourmet, but not quite sure why. I mean, it's nothing gourmet about that stuff. It's all just convenience store things. And obviously you have 7-Eleven as well. I know 7-Eleven's around 22p, something like that. In terms of hotels, I see MyStays, APA, Tokyo. These are the low-end business hotels, no frills. Haven't checked any of their data. In terms of delivery, they have Yamato. They have this Kuroneko thing, and it's like a black cat. Haven't checked their data. Will do, hopefully. In terms of parking, Park 24 is definitely one of the more prominent ones. You walk around, most of them are Park 24, and they have a 33p. So I don't know how the accounting works here. If Park 24 is a rate and it's an REIT, then maybe 33 is reasonable, because really you have to look at AFFO, but not sure how the accounting works. I will have to actually look at the their statements. I mean, luckily luckily I at least read some Japanese, but I don't know if that'll be enough. We'll see. The other interesting thing, actually, this one reminds me of other similar picks. It's a stock exchange. You got the Tokyo Stock Exchange at 22p. I don't know if it's good or bad, because it's a very cyclical industry. When things are really bad, when stock market is really bad, their earning will directly be impacted. So yeah, but this does remind me when the Hong Kong stock market goes to shit, maybe the easiest thing to buy is the Hong Kong Stock Exchange itself. Oh, sorry, Sugi is a different one than Don Quixote. Don Quixote is of itself. That was 27. This one is not as big or not as numerous as the ones here, as far as I can see. And there's another one called Koko Kara Fine. Literally means from here it's good. 23p, so nothing's very cheap. There's Heiwa, which is, this one is a pachinko, like this is these slot machines. So gambling, basically. Very Japanese thing. I was in Amami Oshima 4 or 5 years ago, and the entire island has no cinemas, but it has multiple pachinkos, and that tells you how much Japanese people love this gambling stuff. It's quite crazy. The other thing that I found fairly cheap in Japan is this sekisui chemical. So the thing has a 13 PE. It's grown a lot in the past. It's a materials company, so it's quite attractive at this price. So basically, if at 13 PE, if this thing can continue to grow in earnings for the next 5 years, then that's a good deal. But yeah, I don't know. I have a friend that works in Sekisui but I'm yet to ask her about the situation in that company. Just a random fact. Sekisui literally means like stagnant water. So a chemical company that's like named as stagnant water is quite interesting. It's kind of weird, but I'm sure this is actually the family name or something of the founder or something. Yeah, so what else did I notice in Japan? Yeah, so I was trying to sell gold in Japan, and 24 karat gold is definitely fetch a much higher price per unit gold content. So whenever you buy gold, if you ever want to sell in Japan or one of the East Asian countries, get the 24 ounce. Don't buy 22 ounce or 18 ounce, right? So don't buy American Eagle. Buy Maple, buy Buffalo, buy, I don't know, one of those. Don't, but, or even Australian, right? Don't buy 22 ounce Eagles or even Kruger Wrens. What else did I notice? I think for now that's it. If I notice anything more, I'll try to report that. But it's a very pleasant country to just travel in, and so I recommend this place to whoever wants to travel the world. Obviously, you need to speak a little bit or understand a little bit of Japanese. It makes a huge difference. Yeah, that will be it from me tonight. And if you like this, click like, share this with your friends and whatnot. And if you don't like this, click dislike. And I shall see you next time.